Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 4.
Right now, a top Trump administration official is speaking on threats to withhold millions in funding from the CTA after a woman was set on fire while riding the train.
The clock ticking to file for property tax exemptions as county leaders are looking for long-term solutions.
Operation Midway Blitz with a Z and a double S. How the community is rallying around families impacted by immigration raids. Hope all is well. I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. Weather is first at 4. We started out with some snow this morning. What can we expect for the rest of the evening as we take a live look outside? Looking kind of quiet out there right now. Emily Walls, what should we expect?
Well, it's quiet for now in most locations, but again tonight we could be seeing another round of snow moving through. Now, it's not going to be a heavy hitter. We're not going to see a lot, but it could be enough that we're dealing with at least a little bit of slick spots developing late tonight. Radar right now, we have some showers coming down across northwest Indiana. Of course, mainly in the form of snow at this point. We have temperatures for a lot of us that are sitting in the upper 20s to low 30s. Notice the cooler air that's beginning to build into the northwest. That's going to continue to slide in through the night. Temperatures tonight eventually going to be dropping down into the teens. Your evening planner, fairly steady. We're dropping down to the mid-20s by about 8 p.m. or so. Cloudy skies, but snow showers going to be possible again tonight. And then again, going into this upcoming weekend. Those details coming up.
Thanks, Emily. Right now, police are still trying to find the second man who ran after an officer was dragged by a car last night.
This played out near 57th and North Washtenaw when officers walked up to a car reported stolen. No one was in there. Two men, they say, came back to it and took off as soon as they saw police. One ran down the street. The other jumped into a dark car and hit the gas with an officer holding the door. Police say other officers fired and the driver was shot in the head and died there. A woman in that car was held for questions and not charged. Police said they recovered 2 guns and they plan to release more information once they track down the second man.
A woman got hit by a car and she was ran over not once but twice while walking in the crosswalk.
And she had the right of way. This happened Friday morning in Avondale on Belmont and Pulaski.
And Brett Bugansky is live in the studio with the latest on this story. Brett?
Yeah, so this is also making its rounds on social media. Chicago police confirmed with us just a few hours ago that the 67-year-old woman went to Illinois Masonic Hospital. So they didn't talk about her condition. Now, this video is so difficult to watch. So we're only going to show you the moments before this woman got hit by a truck. So this happened just before 9:30 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. Friday on Belmont and Pulaski. So in the video, you see a woman in the video crossing the intersection going west on Belmont. So you see a red Ford pickup truck at the light. So while she's standing there, the light turns green, so does the walk signal, and that's when the man driving the truck comes into the intersection, hits her, runs over her twice, and you can see several people running over to help after it happened. Minutes later, an ambulance pulls up, and I spoke with Jimmy Paraskevas, who owns the Belfort Tavern, which is across the street from the crash. So he saw the aftermath and then went back to his surveillance video. What did you notice that was so unusual about the truck?
I noticed it. The truck was pretty tall, and it had full of snow on it, and maybe the person never saw the lady walking, and that's why he probably ran her over.
All right, let's go back to this video here. You see the height of the pickup truck, and you also see quite a bit of snow on the hood, the roof, and parts of the windshield. Just a reminder, Illinois state law says that you have to clear your windshield from any rain, snow, ice, or moisture from your windows. So there can't be any obstructions. And you can get a citation for $164 if you're found to be in violation. So we've been contacting with Chicago police all day to find out what citations, if any, were given to the 39-year-old male driver. They told us he got 1 citation, but they didn't give us any specifics. So Jimmy Paraskevas told me the driver stayed at the scene, and we're also trying to find out how the victim is doing right now. And there have been some on social media saying the woman has quite the road to recovery. I am still waiting to hear back from them. Terrence?
All right, Brett, thank you. A former mental health counselor accused of sexually abusing young patients was in court today.
Edmund Rivers is facing 5 felonies. Casey Cronus is live at the Layton Criminal Courthouse with the latest on this story. Casey?
Rivers appeared before a judge wearing a yellow Department of Corrections jumpsuit. He wasn't in handcuffs, but is being held behind bars. Rivers once worked at Hartgrove Hospital in the city's Austin neighborhood and is accused of repeatedly sexually assaulting at least 5 boys who were between the ages of 7 and 14 at the time. According to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, the alleged abuse dates back to the mid-90s, extending into the early 2000s. In court today, Rivers was met by his new attorney, who did not yet want to comment on the case. The criminal complaint remains sealed as of today, but will be made available in the coming weeks. These criminal charges, in part, stem from a civil suit involving more than 200 former Hartgrove patients who have come forward with detailed allegations of abuse, coercion, and trauma. The Chicago law firm spearheading the civil suit, which was originally filed last December, is moving forward with a civil trial in the new year.
It was something where lots of children were being shepherded in and out, and there were not good, safe protocols to ensure that that there was accountability for the staff and for the policies and procedures that were supposed to be in place. And then there's a number of clients that we know that have been abused by others, and we're diligently working with government officials to bring those people under prosecution while we continue to beat the drum of the civil case.
And Rivers is due back in court next week. A representative for Hartgrove Hospital tells us they cannot comment on pending litigation, but did confirm that Rivers has not been an employee there for more than 2 decades. Back to you.
Thank you, Casey. Former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is asking President Trump for clemency. Madigan was convicted in February on bribery, conspiracy, and wire fraud charges. He asked for a pardon after he completes his sentence. The 83-year-old was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison and fined $2.5 million. Madigan is also appealing that conviction.
The city council is meeting next week and again on December 23rd to figure out the budget. 27 city council members are backing a different budget plan that avoids the mayor's short-term fixes like his corporate head tax. But a group of community organizations say this alternative plan would hurt working people.
It is a proposal that shifts the burden from being one that is shared with corporations via the community safety surcharge to being solely on the backs of working class people. Through doubling our garbage fees, increasing liquor taxes, and cutting youth jobs.
The city has to pass the budget by December 31st to keep the government running.
The Cook County Assessor's Office is working overtime to help homeowners navigate their property taxes.
Bills are due Monday. Tia Ewing is here with us now with steps you need to take.
Yeah, you do need to take some steps. But let's just face it, people don't have this kind of money, right, to pay for these taxes. They have really gone up. Terrence and Sylvia, like the city budget fight, this is a battle over tax breaks. The Cook County Board of Review's tax reductions for major downtown properties have pushed more of the tax burden onto the homeowners. As a result, some residents on the south and west sides have seen their property tax bills jump by more than 100%. That is a heck of a lot. The assessor's office has hosted 23 events across the county since property tax bills dropped last month. At these events, homeowners can sit down with the experts to review their bills line by line to ensure that you have applied for all available exemptions. Evaluation analysts are also on hand to double check your property tax characteristics. Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi says the goal here is to help as many people as possible before next week's deadline, but he is also pushing for reform, calling for circuit breaker legislation.
Here's how it works. If your tax bill jumps by 25% or more from one year to the next, the state issues you a credit to bring it down, and you get it for several years. Other states already do this as a cornerstone of their property tax system to prevent longtime residents from being forced out of their homes.
While that discussion is up for lawmakers, homeowners are encouraged to come out to one of the final 2 property tax savings events. The first is tonight from 5:30 until 7 at the Garfield Park Conservatory. The last event will be tomorrow at Kennedy King College at 11. And once again, second installment property tax bills are due come Monday. Terrence?
All right, Tia, lawmakers in Washington are also staring down a year-end crisis, soaring health care premiums.
Congress only has a matter of days to approve a new plan. Otherwise, millions of Americans could be paying hundreds of dollars more for their health care next year. Rebecca Castor has details.
It's crunch time on Capitol Hill. COVID-era Obamacare subsidies expire on December 31st. And unless Congress takes action, premiums could double for millions of Americans.
This is the kind of increase where you can't pay your rent, you can't buy groceries, you can't pay for shoes for kids. It's an emergency.
On Thursday, the Senate will vote on dueling plans. Democrats want a 3-year extension on the ACA subsidies, while Republicans have agreed to put forth a new proposal that would expand health savings accounts.
Tomorrow is a moment of truth for the Republicans here in the Senate. Are they going to bring health care costs down, or will they sit by and let premiums explode for millions of Americans?
We Republicans are trying to make it better. We want money in your pocket for your out-of-pocket, and they want you to front the whole thing.
Without bipartisan support, neither bill is expected to get the 60 votes needed to pass. Therefore, the House is working on its own plan.
But you're going to see a package come together that will be on the floor next week that will actually reduce premiums for 100% of Americans.
And the critical deadline comes as President Trump is under pressure to show skeptical voters he's doing enough to make life more affordable.
We're also working to bring down the cost of health care. Obamacare is a scam. Under Obamacare, trillions of dollars were given directly to health insurance companies.
The White House hasn't directly endorsed the GOP plan in the Senate, but the president is supportive of giving federal aid directly to patients. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 32 Chicago.
Stocks ended mixed today. The central bank cut interest rates by a 1/4 point like people thought they would. The Fed says they might cut rates one more time next year or in 2027. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the economy isn't growing fast enough to cause inflation. And this was the 3rd rate cut this year, a small one, but a cut that can touch your credit cards and your loans. And now a new Fed chair could change even more next year. The Fed says the economy sits in a neutral spot right now, and that neutral spot makes future cuts less certain. The board did not agree on this move. Some members wanted a pause, and one member pushed for a deeper cut. The president has his own views and plans to pick a new Fed chair soon. Kevin Hassett appears to be the front runner, as it signals more cuts could still happen. And while the Fed talks about stability, both parties see something very different in these numbers.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Costs haven't gone down. Costs are going up.
Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety.
The president plans to pick the next Fed chair the next week or two. That person will decide how fast borrowing costs change in 2025, and those changes can hit your budget long before anything else does.
Well, millions of student loan borrowers will soon have higher monthly payments. Former President Biden's student loan repayment plan, known as SAVE, is officially ending. A legal settlement announced by the Education Department will block new enrollments, deny pending applications, and move current borrowers to other plans. SAVE, which based payments on income levels, was praised as the most affordable option. The Department of Education says it will contact impacted borrowers in the coming weeks.
Look up, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's the Sheriff's Department.
Ahead at 4:30, a look at how Cook County is monitoring and ticketing drivers from the sky.
Plus, a hemp ban is delayed in Chicago. I'll tell you why.
And 2 Chicago neighbors are helping children and families impacted by ICE raids this holiday season, and they need your help. How you can be part of Operation Midway Bliss coming up.
The manager of a popular comedy club is no longer facing charges. Nathan Griffin from Laugh Factory was accused of assaulting and interfering, I should say, with a federal agent during Operation Midway Blitz. The Sun-Times reports a judge dismissed the case today without prejudice, meaning it could be revisited if prosecutors decide to do so. However, the judge stated this is unlikely. A federal grand jury also declined to indict.
Families in Chicago who were shaken by the recent ICE raids are getting a little relief and some holiday cheer thanks to a community-led effort called Operation Midway Bliss.
Leslie Moreno joins us live with how you can get involved too. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, this will bring lots of joy to children whose families were impacted by those ICE raids. Organizers say it's also about making sure families feel safe and supported again. Operation Midway Bliss started small, just 2 Chicago neighbors hoping to bring some joy back to families who've been living with a lot of fear and uncertainty. The operation quickly took off on social media. Community groups, influencers, and volunteers all jumped in to make a donation. Over 100 families will receive a bag of groceries, essential items, and for the kids, toys. Organizers Taylor and Will are hoping this brings joy to families still recovering from the emotional and financial strain of those ICE raids, many of whom lost income. They hope the support means one less thing to worry about.
It's who they are. It's feeling loved and welcomed and accepted in the U.S. It's their jobs. It's their children. It's fearing for their children going to school because if they go to pick them up, they'll get taken. And so it's every human level, just of human decency that's been stripped from them. So if we can soften it in the smallest way during a time of year that's supposed to be about love and togetherness and magic, then I mean, that's the biggest gift for us to be able to play a small role in that.
It breaks your heart. And I think we're trying to give some hopefulness where a lot of sad, a lot of anger is in the background. We want to try to bring some hope to the forefront.
And coming up on December 19th, Operation Midway Bliss will be hosting a grocery bagging event at Right Bee Cider Bar in Hermosa, where volunteers will bag those groceries for the families in need. The following day, volunteer drivers will take those packages to their homes, and organizers say they're still in need of volunteers to deliver those packages, and they're also still in need of donations. If you'd like to help, we'll have all those details on Fox32Chicago.com. In the Loop, Les Moreno, Fox 32 Chicago.
All right, Les, thanks so much. Let's take a live look outside. I guess the rain did help clear some of the snow out of the way. The snow it left behind has all the brown and yellow stuff.
The other things that are a part of it as well.
Sorry, very visual.
Yeah, that was quite
Did you see that all the way from here?
Oh, yeah. Can't miss those spots.
It's, it's not as nice and fresh and sparkly as it once was. But you know what, Terrence? No worries. We're going to be adding to it here in the next couple of days. So we still have a couple more systems that are going to be parading through the region over the next few days or so. Finally, we're going to see this weather pattern breaking down a bit going into early next week. But between tonight, tomorrow night, and then Saturday, we have a few more systems to get through. So the radar right now, we still have some light snow that's coming down across mainly portions of northwest Indiana. We're seeing some lake effect. It's fairly light snow. I'm also watching this area of snow that's off to our west and northwest. That may clip portions of the area tonight, so we do have snow showers in your forecast for tonight as well. Temperatures outside sitting in the upper 20s to low 30s. But it's very gusty out of the northwest. So that's making a pretty big difference when it comes to our wind chills. Wind chill temps for a lot of us are sitting in the teens to low 20s. Actual air temperatures tonight are going to be dropping down into the teens. So it's going to be a chilly night. We'll have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds out of the northwest. That's enough to send wind chills likely down into the single digits to near 10 degrees. So it is going to be cold tonight. And again, we will have scattered snow showers as well. So any untreated surfaces could become slick out there tonight. Your 5-day forecast, another system's going to squeeze through Thursday evening, Thursday night. Best chance of snow is going to be over the southwestern sections of the area Thursday night into Friday morning. Most of the day on Friday is dry, and then we are going to be looking at much colder conditions this weekend. Highs near 15 degrees on Saturday with another chance of snow. And then Sunday for the Bears game, high temperatures are only near 12, and game time wind chills are going to be around 5 degrees below zero.
Just Just as long as the score is higher than that.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Or higher than the opponents at least. Yeah. After the break, a couple donates $11 million to Lurie Children's Hospital.
An incredible story. A look at how the money is going to help speed up life-saving research.
Also, Australia just became the first country to ban social media for kids. Could our country be next?
AI pricing, why some customers are being charged more for everyday items they purchase on Instacart.
Hey, speaking of the Bears, fans are hopeful the team is headed to the Super Bowl. But first, the playoffs, how you can get tickets to those crucial games. All right, Wisconsin's got 2 new license plates coming out. One's a retro yellow design that pays homage to the state's history as America's Dairyland. The other's this blackout plate that's pretty popular around the Midwest. So these plates will be ready for you to buy in early January. Officials say they'll bring in more than $25 million for the state's transportation fund in just 3 years. Lurie Children's just made a huge announcement that could completely change the game for kids with genetic and rare diseases.
Dawn and Edwards are giving the hospital $11 million. This gift creates the new Edwards Family Division of Genetics and Rare Diseases. Governor Pritzker was there to talk about just how big this is, not just for Illinois, but for the entire country.
Anyone with a loved one with genetic or congenital disorders can tell you just how truly transformative this work can be. The hope and the clarity that a place like this, like Lurie, gives, a program like the Edwards Division of Genetics and Rare Diseases provides, well, can feel like a miracle. And boy, do we need to feel miracles today.
Yes, we do. The hospital says this money is going to help a lot. It's going to expand genetics training, bring diagnostic testing in-house to cut down on those wait times, and triple the number of gene therapy and research trials by 2030.
Christmas, you know, is 2 weeks away, but local high school students are focused on giving, not getting. Students from Lakes Community High School, Carmel Catholic High, are donating toys, hundreds of toys. They'll be going to kids in their communities. The toys are heading to the Salvation Army. Local families can pick them out at the Midway Center. One of Salvation Army's lieutenants says this is what the holidays mean, and it's not too late to help.
This is what we call giving with joy. In the Salvation Army on the front lines of service, we see this year the need is so great, and we know we can't meet those needs without the generosity of our community. So it is toy drives like this where people are giving with such great joy that ensures kids have Christmas this holiday season.
You can donate unwrapped gifts to your local Salvation Army, or you can give online at salarmychicago.org.
Well, he may no longer be the Secretary of State after retiring as the most popular politician in Illinois, but at the age of 91, Jesse White is still working to give back and continuing to encourage others to do the same. The Jesse White Foundation hosted its annual Season of Giving last night. It featured local and state politicians and a special demonstration by the famous Jesse White Tumblers. White started that organization 66 years ago.
We give our young people scholarship money while they're in school because we want to make sure they have the necessary funds that are necessary for them to fit properly into an educational environment. I believe, like Abraham Lincoln Maravitz said to me a long time ago, Jesse White, remember, do something good for someone every day. I practice that, and I just hope that that will become a part of your philosophy of life as well.
The highlight was, of course, the Jesse White Tumblers. It was all to raise funds in support of the tumbling team, as well as programs benefiting at-risk youth, including some coat and food drives.
They're so talented.
Yeah, never get tired of watching them.
Ever. All right, Bears playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow morning. You can buy tickets for a home wild card game or a home divisional game. If the Bears don't make it to those games, you'll get your money back. Tickets go on sale at 11 a.m. on Ticketmaster.com.
Coming up after the break, a look at how local police are using helicopters to monitor rush hour traffic.
Plus, Netflix bid for Warner Brothers has just been hit with a consumer class action lawsuit.
And striking baristas in Chicago are getting some international support in their bid for a fair contract.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair.
Right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact, if you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
I'm on vacation.
Right now at 4:30, the city council delaying a vote to ban hemp products in Chicago.
Eyes in the skies, tickets in the mail. Look at how police are using helicopter patrols to regulate traffic.
And an International Day of Solidarity. Starbucks' Red Cup Rebellion is now growing worldwide.
But first, top Trump administration leader is speaking on threats to withhold millions in funding from the CTA.
The CTA now has a week to meet the administration's demands. The officials spoke exclusively to Paris Schutz, who joins us now with the latest on this story. Paris?
Yeah, Sylvia and Terrence, Federal Transit Administrator Mark Molinaro says the feds are on solid ground to withhold tens of millions in funding for train and bus operations here in Chicago. That is, unless the CTA improves safety across the system. Molinaro penned a letter this week to Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker demanding an enhanced safety plan by Monday of next week, or else risk losing that money. Governor Pritzker says that amounts to an illegal shakedown, but Molinaro says not so much.
There are multiple steps that can be taken: prevention, intervention, diversion, and enforcement. We want the city, we want the system, and we want the state to take seriously this problem, develop an all of the above approach to drive down incidents of assault and provide for operator and rider safety. That's what we're seeking. We have every right to ask it. President Trump and Secretary Duffy have made very clear that rider and operator safety is our priority. And for us at the FTA, that is not going to be questioned. We're not going to get jerked around by anybody anywhere. We want systems to be safe for the riding public and the people who operate those systems.
And Molinaro says he's encouraged by the recent $1.5 billion transit overhaul passed last month in Springfield, but says he wants to see more immediate action. And of course, the impetus of this was the burning of Bethany McGee at the CTA Blue Line station in the Loop. Mayor Johnson has said he will weigh the city's legal options before a formal response, but Molinaro says they are on solid legal ground and that CTA and Chicago Transit has a higher rate of violence than other big cities, even though there's been a moderate drop this year. Mayor Johnson says he thinks the Trump administration is simply trying to pick a political fight with its favorite foe rather than trying to genuinely help.
Every single lawsuit that he has filed against us, we prevailed and we beat it. And every single lawsuit that we have administered against the Trump administration, we've prevailed. We take his threats absolutely seriously, and the president needs to work on being a partner with American cities and not as an adversary.
Again, the city has till Monday to respond or risk losing that funding. You can watch this full, exclusive one-on-one with the FTA administrator, Mark Molinaro, tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report. Terrence?
A lot of deadlines coming up with the city, Paris. Thank you. City Council delayed a vote on a ban for unregulated hemp products today. The delay came after Alderman added an exception for hemp drinks sold in liquor license spots. Supporters say the ban protects consumers. The mayor disagrees and prefers regulation. The vote could happen this month. The ban would start 10 days later. Starbucks workers and unions in 10 different countries are protesting today to back U.S. baristas.
Workers United started a strike last month. The union says 3,000 baristas in over 100 U.S. cities are on strike, including right here in Chicago. Now, this is the picket line that formed outside of a Michigan Avenue store this morning. Workers are pushing for better pay and staffing. Demonstrators were chanting, "No coffee, no contract," as the two parties have not been in active negotiations to reach a contract after talks fell apart late last year.
We're really looking to send a message to Starbucks, come back to the table with some real proposals. All we can do is keep escalating. We will do whatever it takes. This is our livelihoods. We've got bills to pay, and we need a contract in order to do that. We are not making enough. The average barista makes $15.25 an hour.
Starbucks maintains that it has one of the best wage and benefit packages in retail, with an average of $30 per hour and up to 18 weeks of paid family leave.
If you've sat in Chicago traffic, you've seen it. Drivers just flying down the shoulder.
Yeah, but now Cook County Sheriff's Department is fighting back, and Tia is taking us inside the sky-high sting that's catching drivers in real time. Tia.
Yes, I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure you felt like they need to be pulled over, right? Well, there's actually something being done about it. This is happening during the height of rush hour, morning, noon, and night. We went up with the Cook County Sheriff's Office as they use their newest piece of equipment to spot shoulder violators from above, shutting them down from the ground.
We've all seen it.
Drive time stacking up out there.
40 minutes on the Eisenhower from Route 390.
Motorists snaking through traffic and treating the emergency lane like it's just another express lane. For years, they got away with it. No warning, no stop, no consequences.
Black GMC. Looks like one occupant in the front.
Until now. August 27th of 2025, the Cook County Sheriff's Office brought out the big gun.
Okay, and it ends just like that because that's just a little teaser. We want you to watch a little later in our newscast. We capture shoulder violators and even talked to one woman who had her car towed, busted for driving on an expired tag and license and driving in that emergency lane. The full story airs right here at 5:30 on Fox 32 Chicago. Make sure that you tune in.
Okay, that is a good tease. I want to see more, right?
Good, so make sure you watch.
You are so right about that. There's nothing more frustrating than to see them flying by, and you always think, where are the cops when
their
you need
own
them?
personal private lane.
Exactly.
Yeah, kudos for the song choice, too. Shout out to Young Crow and T.I. All right, let's take a live look outside. Ooh.
That's
pretty, yeah.
Very dramatic almost.
Yes.
Very cinematic.
It is. It is a really pretty night. It's windy, though. If you could stay indoors, it's probably a little more pleasant for you. Temperatures right now for a lot of us are sitting in the upper 20s to low 30s. We have wind chill temps for a lot of us that are in the teens. We have spotty snow showers across northwest Indiana because of a lake effect, and also a little bit more in the way of snow off to our west and northwest. Some of that may try to sneak in tonight, but just scattered snow showers, just little, barely any accumulation if any of those end up moving through. So I'm not overly concerned about road conditions during the overnight. Small chance for a couple slick spots as temperatures begin to drop. Forecast low temperatures tonight. We are going down to the mid to upper teens for a lot of us. 20s across the south suburbs and over into northwest Indiana. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, 25. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies through the day. Snow is going to be possible Thursday night. Overall trend is that the heaviest snow is going to pass south of the Chicagoland area, but I still think that we're going to see impacts on our roads Thursday evening, Thursday night, dry skies Friday, and then another system is coming through on Saturday with highs in the teens. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Emily. Should children be banned from social media?
That's the case for many in one country. The goal officials are trying to achieve.
And fearing that subscription fees will skyrocket, consumers launch a class action lawsuit against Netflix.
And could AI technology be hiking your grocery bill? What a new study is saying about Instacart.
Save big money.
as young Australians, we will be completely silenced and cut off from our country and the rest of the world with this ban.
Yeah, teens in Australia not holding back how they feel about the fact that they cannot scroll TikTok or Instagram for hours anymore because the teen social media ban is officially in effect down under. Starting today, accounts for anyone under 16 are blocked on platforms like YouTube.
And if tech companies don't follow the new rules, they could get fined up to $33 million. The goal here is to give children a digital-free childhood, cut down on bullying, and improve mental health. Now, this is the first social media minimum age requirement in the world, and it's caught the attention of former Chicago Mayor and White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel.
Look, when it comes to our adolescents, it's either going to be adults or the algorithms. One of them is going to raise the kids.
It is about our families taking back control. Technology can have an amazing impact on making our life easier. But it is important as technology develops that humans keep control.
Critics fear this ban will isolate teens and push them to use less monitor apps. Here in the U.S., several do require parental consent for teens on social media, while Florida's law banning teens under the age of 13 was just approved in federal court last week.
A new study is claiming Instagram has been changing prices in real time based on AI software.
Yeah, so meaning customers who ordered from Instacart the very same items from the very same store somehow ended up paying different prices.
This is something called surveillance pricing, and it's raising some big questions about fairness and transparency. A study used nearly 200 volunteers in 4 cities to test prices. Instacart shoppers bought the same items from the same store at the same time. The results: 75% of the items had different prices. Some customers paid up to 20 cents more than others. Instacart confirmed the findings, saying a small subset of its retail partners run limited online pricing tests. They claim these tests don't use personal or demographic data to set prices, but some lawmakers aren't buying it.
These corporations teaming up with data companies and massive AI and powerful AI companies are basically creating an environment where it is an uneven playing field for the individual consumer.
That was Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego there introducing the One Fair Price Act. He says it would stop companies from using your data to charge different prices.
Netflix is now facing a lawsuit from a Warner Brothers Discovery subscriber who wants to block its $72 billion acquisition. The proposed class action suit claims this deal would reduce competition in the U.S. streaming market, like eliminating HBO Max and raising prices for viewers. Paramount also launched a $108 billion hostile bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Netflix calls the suit meritless and says it follows weeks of bidding for the studio and streaming businesses. We're going to have more on this story ahead on the news at 5.
The new co-chairs for the Met Gala have been announced, and there are some big names. The quartet includes Beyonce, Venus Williams, Nicole Kidman, and of course Vogue's Anna Wintour. Beyonce was honorary chair in 2013. Kidman co-chaired in 2003 and 2005. Now, this is Williams' first time hosting. The dress code for the Met Gala next year has not been announced, but it will somehow relate to the theme of costume art. That is the theme of the Institute's, I should say, new spring exhibit. The Met Gala is scheduled for May 4th of 2026. How many times have you heard that song already?
Oh, not enough. Not enough.
Never enough. The Queen of Christmas is bringing her Vegas holiday show to fans. Mariah Carey will stream the final show of her Christmas in Las Vegas show at the MGM on TikTok, live in Apple Music. The 90-minute show will feature plenty of Christmas songs, not just the one you heard, All I Want for Christmas Is You. You can get you live on TikTok this Saturday at 10 p.m. local time. If you have Apple Music, you can also watch the show on demand after the live stream.
So what do you do when the weather outside is frightful?
Oh, why? Researchers say video games will be the key to boosting spirits and getting people moving during the winter.
That story and also your full forecast coming up next. But first, here's a look at your trip home.
Beep, beep. The most wonderful time of the year can also be one of the most treacherous, as the onset of colder weather and snow can create a lot of hazardous conditions and trigger falls.
But access to the outdoors can be critical to maintaining positive mental and physical well-being. Chris DeMeo takes a look at how a virtual reality could fill this void.
While previous studies show a dose of the great outdoors can do wonders for our mental and physical health, the cold and ice of winter can make it hard to get outside, especially for those with medical concerns and limited mobility. But nature is still calling. According to research from Clemson University, virtual reality headsets can help many people who aren't able to safely go outside still access some health benefits associated with time spent in real landscapes.
Virtual nature allows for us to have an opportunity, a door opening to see, to be at a beautiful place like this, to be able to feel like you are at a park again or your favorite nature place. And that's going to make us happier. It also helps decrease some of those negative emotions like worry, stress, anxiety.
And experts say virtual nature immersion can provide sensations far beyond just looking at traditional pictures.
Well, you do a beautiful hike and then you post on Instagram. That captures some of your experience, the visual piece, but it doesn't necessarily feel like you are there. Virtual reality allows you to do things like collect a soundscape. When you have a headset on, the image moves with you up and down, left to right. If you have something with controllers, they could vibrate or make you feel that sort of tactile feeling that you are there.
Still, researchers say VR is not a replacement for actually going outside.
We're really just trying to create an entryway, particularly for people who do not have access or don't feel comfortable outdoors.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Makes me think of when Nintendo Wii first came out.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was using it, and people weren't using it properly because they weren't strapping the controller to their wrist.
Right.
Go right into the TV.
Yeah, but they were
moving and grooving.
Yeah, moving and grooving. And the other rock band, remember that game?
Oh,
yeah. Guitar Hero.
Yeah, Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
That was fun, right?
Now, VR, my friend.
Yeah.
Actually fighting things.
Any song that was in Guitar Hero, that's what I know it for. I don't know it because it's a classic.
Well, this is what makes me laugh, is because, I heard it the first time it came around, and then to hear, like, my kids singing these songs out of the blue, I'm like, where did you hear that song from? And it was Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that's how I know all those songs, too. That's the only way I know most of those songs.
Let's bring back Guitar Hero. That was fun.
That was a good video game. Yeah. Mario Kart's still the best though.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look outside on what we're dealing with. So high temperatures today, believe it or not, was actually 40 degrees. That was set this morning, right very shortly after midnight. And then we dropped into the 20s and 30s during the day. We're looking at temperatures that are going to continue to drop as we go throughout the rest of this evening, down into the teens. And it's going to get pretty cold by early tomorrow morning. Your temperatures right now, we're ranging from about 23 degrees in Woodstock to about 32 in places like Gary. That's one of our warmer spots right now. Same thing with Michigan City. It is 30 at O'Hare, 29 at the Chicago Lakefront, 31 degrees currently in Morris. The wind chill temperatures are down into the teens and low 20s. So again, feeling very chilly. We're down to about 11 degrees with that feels like temperature up in Woodstock. Now, your 5-day forecast here, mid-20s for tomorrow, upper 20s to near 30 degrees on Friday. But then this weekend, that's when it's going to get very, very cold. We're talking high temperatures that are only going to be between 10 and 15 degrees above zero, but wind chill temperatures both days are likely going to be below zero. And of course, Sunday is the Bears game. I think during that Bears game, wind chills are likely going to stay below zero. So it's going to be very cold despite having some sunshine in your forecast on Sunday. But before we can even get to Sunday, we have several storm systems that are going to pass by the region. Not all of them through the region, but a lot of them are going to be coming very close. So the satellite and radar, we do have some light snow coming down across northwest Indiana because of a lake effect, but we're going to be keeping an eye on the system that's farther off to our west because that could be potentially bringing us some scattered snow showers tonight. So that could create a couple slick spots out there tonight into the early morning hours of tomorrow. And then through the day tomorrow, we're going to be mostly cloudy during the day. But do you see what's moving in by the evening? So I have the clock stepped here around 6, 7 p.m. or so, and we're looking at snow beginning to spread in, especially across the southwestern sections of the area. So Thursday night, We're going to have another round of light snow. Most areas it's just going to be a dusting, but for those of you in the far southwest, places like LaSalle County, Kendall, Grundy County, even Kankakee County, wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing an inch, maybe 2 inches out of this one. And then even going into this weekend, we're still going to have a couple more systems passing through. I think the next best chance after tomorrow night is going to be here on Saturday. For tonight, 18 degrees in the city, most suburbs dropping down to the teens. We'll have northwesterly winds, 5 to 15 miles per hour. 7-day forecast tomorrow, 25 degrees. We're going to have that chance of snow during the evening, continuing through the overnight. And then on Friday, we're mainly dry during the day. A couple spotty snow showers possible, but no accumulation with that on Friday. Saturday, that's when we start to see another system and the final system, hopefully, of this weather pattern, because by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to begin to dry things out. Again, sunshine expected for the Bears game on Sunday, but high temperatures are only going to be at about 12 degrees. We're going back down to near zero going into your work week. So Monday morning is going to be very cold. But then after that, we finally get back to the 30s, and that's where we should be for this time of the year. We'll be right back.
Stream.
All right, the Powerball is closing in on its $2 billion jackpot this year. Tonight's jackpot is $930 million. The odds of winning the jackpot are slim. Just 1 in 292 million. I hate when they say that because people still win.
Exactly.
Yeah, but good luck to all of those who are playing. Are you going to play?
I am not this time. How
we
about
should
you?
play together.
We should. I
Would
always
you
say I'm
quit
going
together if we won?
Why not?
Okay, I wouldn't quit.
Yes.
I will keep coming.
Oh, you said quit. I thought you were going to ask me to share. No.
No, I will keep coming to work every single day.
Yes.
A new car every single day. All right, well, trending today in South Carolina, some prisoners thought they were getting a tasty Christmas present with a Cajun twist.
Okay, a drone dropping a package into the prison yard, but take a look at this. It was loaded with steaks, crab legs, and Old Bay seasoning. But that's not all. Police say they also found cigarettes and several bags of marijuana in the contraband care package. A prison official says the inmates who were expecting the package are probably crabby that it never got delivered.
Who put this in the show?
I don't know.
And expects us to carry on after that.
Somebody was really getting, that's amazing.
Yeah, they were going, I guess, have the munchies and all the other stuff. Okay.
Okay, I can't wait, because coming up, you've got that special report I'm looking forward to about the crazy people who drive on the side of the freeway.
6 minutes and 23 seconds of goodness.
It's going to be so good, right? That's it for the news at 4. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, here's Terrence and Scott.
Witness that every day on the Ike. Thanks, you two. Appreciate it. Now at 5, a sky-high sting. They were just talking about it. Cook County cracking down on those drivers speeding on the shoulder.
An exclusive interview. The White House official is defending the threat to deny the CTA millions in funding.
And after Operation Midway Blitz, the community now rallying to help people impacted by immigration raids with what they're calling Operation Midway Bliss. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Terrence Lee. Dawn has the night off.
Okay, so, Emily nailed it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There should be billboards that say, Emily said it would be this way, because
I love it.
We had the rain, and then we had the light snow. Are we done with it for now?
We are not done with it for now. So we actually have some lake effect that's been developing, impacting the south suburbs, northwest Indiana. Very light snow coming down, but still with temperatures dropping. Of course, any untreated surfaces will become a little slick out there. And then zooming out the view here, off to our west, our northwest, we do have a little bit of snow. It's beginning to diminish, but there is a chance that some of that activity could actually make it into the area tonight. So scattered snow showers are going to be possible during the overnight, but no meaningful snow with this round. Temperatures out there right now sitting in the upper 20s and low 30s. Tonight it is going to get cold. We're planning on lows that are going to be in the upper teens to low 20s, but wind chill temperatures are going to be quite a bit cooler in the single digits, and it gets frigid for the upcoming weekend. Those details coming up.
Police tonight still trying to find the second man who ran after an officer was dragged by a car last night. Now, this played out near 57th and North Washtenaw when an officer walked up to a car reported stolen. 2 men came back to it and took off as soon as they saw police. One reportedly ran down the street. The other jumped into a dark-colored vehicle, hit the gas with an officer reportedly holding onto the door. Other officers fired, and the driver was shot in the head, died at the scene. A woman in that car was held for questions but was not charged. Police say they recovered 2 firearms. They plan to release more information once they track down that second man.
A veteran Gary police sergeant has been arrested on domestic violence and intoxicated driving charges. It happened last week, but the Gary Police Department says they learned of Jamal Joseph's arrest yesterday from the Portage Police Department. Details about the arrest have not been released. Joseph is on unpaid leave and will stay off duty while the case moves forward. The department is also conducting its own internal investigation. Joseph has been with the Gary Police for 17 years.
A woman in Avondale got hit and run over not once, but twice while in this crosswalk.
Yeah, this happened Friday morning on Belmont and Pulaski, and the woman who got run over is recovering at the hospital.
Brett Baganski live in studio. And Brett, you found out this whole thing was caught on camera, right?
Certainly that's the case, and this could be really difficult to watch, so we want to warn you here. So Chicago police told us the victim is a 67-year-old woman who went to Illinois Masonic Hospital, and we're going to show you the moments before this happened. Take a look. This was just before 9:30 a.m. Friday on Belmont and Pulaski. So in this video, you see a woman crossing the intersection going west on Belmont. You see a red Ford pickup truck at the light. There it is. While she's standing there, that light turns green, so does the walk signal, and that's when the man driving the truck comes into the intersection, hits her, runs her over twice, and you see several people running over to help after this happened. So minutes later, an ambulance pulls up, and I spoke with Jimmy Paraskevas, who owns the Belford Tavern, which is across the street from the crash. So he saw the aftermath and then went back to his own surveillance video.
I don't know why he didn't stop right away, so she noticed he hit something. I don't know.
When you see something like that, Jimmy, are you thinking, is this woman going to survive?
To me, it didn't look like she was going to survive. I hope the guy going to pay for it because it was his fault.
All right, so let's go back to the video here. You see the height of the pickup truck. You also see quite a bit of snow on the hood, the roof, and parts of the windshield. And just a reminder here, Illinois state law says that you have to clear your windshield from any rain, snow, ice, or moisture from your windows. There can't be any obstructions. And you can get cited for $164 if you're found to be in violation. So Chicago police told us the 39-year-old male driver got 1 citation, but they didn't give us the specifics here. So Jimmy Perskivas told me the driver stayed at the scene. So we're also trying to find out how the victim is doing right now. And there have been a lot of people on social media saying the woman has quite the road to recovery. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. Scott, back to you.
All right, Brett, thanks for that. Well, he was once a mental health counselor at Hartgrove Hospital on the west side. Now he's behind bars for allegedly sexually abusing young patients.
Edmund Rivers was in Cook County Criminal Court today. That's where we find Casey Cronus live with the latest on the case. Casey.
The alleged abuse dates back to the mid-90s and extends into the early 2000s. Those criminal charges stem from a civil suit that was filed nearly 1 year ago to the day. In court, 68-year-old Edmund Rivers appeared before a Cook County judge wearing a yellow Department of Corrections jumpsuit. He wasn't shackled or handcuffed, but is being kept behind bars. Rivers once worked at Hartgrove Hospital near Roosevelt and Waller. He was charged earlier this month with repeatedly sexually assaulting at least 5 boys who were between the ages of 7 and 14 at the time. In court Wednesday, Rivers was met by his new attorney, who did not yet want to comment on the case. The criminal complaint remains sealed, but will be made available in the coming weeks. While his criminal case moves through the courts, Hartgrove Hospital and Universal Healthcare Services are facing a civil suit, now involving more than 200 former patients.
It was something where lots of children were being shepherded in and out, and there were not good, safe protocols to ensure that that there was accountability for the staff and for the policies and procedures that were supposed to be in place.
The charges against Rivers were brought after former patients learned of the civil suit and went to police, reporting that Rivers would often threaten to inject them with a sedative if they didn't comply with his advances.
I think it brings some relief to our clients who have lived with this for a decade or two or more, but the work isn't done.
Michael Greco, a founding partner at the Chicago law firm spearheading the civil suit, says for decades, patients needed an advocate but didn't have one. Now, Greco is preparing for the civil trial scheduled in the new year.
There's a number of clients that we know that have been abused by others, and we're diligently working with government officials to bring those people under prosecution while we continue to beat the drum of the civil case.
Rivers is due back in court for his criminal case next week. A representative for Hartgrove Hospital tells us Rivers hasn't been an employee there for more than 20 years, but didn't specify whether Rivers was fired or if he resigned. We'll have much more on this later tonight. Reporting live at the Layton Criminal Courthouse, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Casey, thank you. City Council delayed a vote on a ban for unregulated hemp products today. The delay came after aldermen added an exception for hemp drinks sold in liquor license spots. Supporters say the ban protects consumers, but the mayor disagrees and prefers regulation. The vote could happen this month. The ban would start 10 days later. Chicago City Council also still hasn't reached an agreement on the budget, and they only have until the end of the month to reach a deal. There's 5 more meetings before that deadline for them to figure things out. But it could be a long road. 27 city council members are backing a different budget plan that avoids the mayor's short-term fixes like his corporate head tax. Alders and some business leaders have criticized the plan as a job killer that could push companies out of the city.
Facing mounting anger from homeowners on Chicago's south and west sides over skyrocketing property tax increases, Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi is going on the defensive, calling out commissioners on the Board of Review for giving tax breaks to commercial property owners while squeezing black and brown communities. This year alone, Kagi says $500 million in new property taxes has been shifted to Chicago homeowners. Kagi says while some of the poorest communities are being asked to pay hundreds more in new taxes, big commercial properties are being assessed at 75 to 80% of their actual value.
With every one of these unfair reductions, the Board of Review Commissioners shifts the property tax burden onto homeowners across the county, and especially in Black and Latino neighborhoods.
Tonight, the Cook County Assessor's Office will be at the Garfield Park Fieldhouse, helping people navigate their tax bills, including taking advantage of exemptions that can lower tax bills for homeowners dramatically.
A high-ranking official from the Trump administration is addressing threats to withhold millions in funding from the CTA.
CTA now has only a week to meet the administration's demands. Those officials speaking exclusively to our Paris Schutz, who joins us now with the latest.
Yeah, Terrence and Scott, Federal Transit Administrator Mark Molinaro says the feds are on solid ground to withhold tens of millions of dollars in funding for train and bus operations here in Chicago. That is, unless the CTA improves safety across the system. Molinaro penned this letter to Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker demanding an enhanced safety plan by Monday of next week, or else risk losing that money. Now, Governor Pritzker says this is an illegal shakedown, but Molinaro says not so much.
There are multiple steps that can be taken: prevention, intervention, diversion, and enforcement. We want the city, we want the system, and we want the state to take seriously this problem, develop an all-of-the-above approach to drive down incidents of assault and provide for operator and rider safety. That's what we're seeking. We have every right to ask it. President Trump and Secretary Duffy have made very clear that rider and operator safety is our priority. And for us at the FTA, that is not going to be questioned. We're not going to get jerked around by anybody anywhere. We want systems to be safe for the riding public and the people who operate those systems.
Now, Molinaro cites the loop burning of Bethany McGee as the impetus for this letter. Says the rates of violence against riders and operators on transit is higher in Chicago than other big cities like New York and LA, even though there has been a moderate drop this year. Now, Mayor Brandon Johnson says he believes that this is the Trump administration simply picking another political fight with one of his favorite foes, as opposed to genuinely trying to help.
Every single lawsuit that he has filed against us, we've prevailed and we beat it. And every single lawsuit that we have administered against the Trump administration, we've prevailed. We take his threats absolutely seriously, and the president needs to work on being a partner with American cities and not as an adversary.
And Mayor Johnson's office says they are reviewing their options here, but they will have a response to this letter by the deadline next Monday. By the way, you can watch that full exclusive one-on-one with Administrator Molinaro from the FTA tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report. Scott?
All right, Paris, thank you for that. Still ahead of the news at 5. Shoulder speeders. We know you've seen them when you've been stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it's not just rude, it's dangerous, and now Cook County is fighting back. Families in Chicago shaken by the recent ICE raids are getting a little relief and some holiday cheer.
Yeah, it's all thanks to a community-led effort that they are calling Operation Midway Bliss.
The organizers say it's not just about bringing joy to kids, but also helping families feel safe and supported again. Operation Midway Bliss started small, just 2 neighbors. The operation quickly took off on social media. Community groups, influencers, and volunteers all jumped in to make a donation. More than 100 families will receive a bag of groceries, essential items, and for the kids, toys. Organizers are hoping the support means these families have one less thing to worry about.
It's who they are. It's feeling loved and welcome and accepted in the U.S. It's their jobs. It's their children. It's fearing for their children going to school because if they go to pick them up, they'll get taken. And so it's every human level, just of human decency that's been stripped from them. So if we can soften it in the smallest way during a time of year that's supposed to be about love and togetherness and magic, then I mean, that's the biggest gift for us to be able to play a small role in that.
It breaks your heart. And I think we're trying to give some hopefulness where a lot of sad, a lot of anger is in the background. We want to try to bring some hope to the forefront.
Coming up on the 19th, Operation Midway Bliss will be hosting a grocery bagging event at Right B Cider Bar in Hermosa, where volunteers will bag those groceries for the families in need. The day after, volunteer drivers will take the packages to their homes. Organizers are still looking for some volunteers, so if you would like to help out, we have all those details on fox32chicago.com.
Charges against the manager of Chicago's Laugh Factory are officially dropped. Nathan Griffin had been accused of assaulting and interfering with a federal agent during Operation Midway Blitz. The Sun-Times reporting a judge dismissed the charges today without prejudice. Now, that means that Nathan Griffin, in theory, could be charged again if prosecutors were to pursue the case. However, the judge says there is no intention that will happen. A federal grand jury also refusing to indict him today.
Former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan is asking President Trump for clemency. Madigan was convicted in February on bribery, conspiracy, and wire fraud charges. Madigan asked for a pardon after he completes his sentence. 83-year-old was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison and fined $2.5 million. He is also appealing his conviction. In New York, a federal judge has cleared the way for a secret grand jury records from Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking case to be made public. The decision follows 2 other rulings this week, ordering the release of materials tied to both Epstein and his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. The Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates today for the 3rd time this year.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the economy is, how he describes, in neutral position going into next year, hinting that more cuts are far from guaranteed.
But as Connor Hansen reports, President Trump is preparing to name his successor, who could have other ideas.
There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals.
The Fed votes to make its 3rd and final cut of the year, once again taking it down by a 1/4 percentage point. Investors watched Chairman Jerome Powell's speech for clues about where things will go next year, and it appears rate cuts could be harder to come by.
We are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
President Trump has been hounding the Fed chair for not making cuts sooner.
Jerome, too late. He's too late with his interest rates. Got to get the rates down, you schmuck.
Some board members dissented. 2 wanted to pause rates, and 1 wanted an even deeper cut. The latest decision comes as the president pushes his economic agenda for 2026. Despite some positive trends, Democrats are seizing on a drop in consumer confidence.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Costs haven't gone down. Costs are going up.
Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety.
President Trump will soon have the chance to replace Powell. Many see Kevin Hassett as the clear frontrunner for the job. The current director of the National Economic Council has stressed that he would keep the Fed independent.
They've got plenty of room to cut rates. They'll do a little bit this time, but they'll probably need to do some more.
Hassett says he expects the president to make his decision on who the next Fed chair will be in the next week or 2. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 32 Chicago.
Keeping it with the president, he's doubling down on his tariff policy, saying it has prompted a resurgence in American manufacturing. However, the numbers tell a different story. A new report shows manufacturers are in fact pulling back on orders of parts and raw materials due to rising uncertainty about the future of the tariff war. Those orders are now at their lowest level since the month of May. Democrats say it's only fueling the affordability crisis.
For businesses, the Trump tariffs have created a system that is unpredictable, inconsistent, and ultimately harmful to American interests.
And yet, President Trump is threatening even more tariffs, including on rice from India, which represents more than 25% of all American rice imports. The White House says while there could be some short-term price increases, in the long run, the tariffs will more than pay for themselves. Some Republicans are beginning to worry tariffs could cost them votes in next year's midterms.
The economy has not turned around in the ways that people were hoping it would under Trump. I think that's really going to be the largest determinant right now. We're still feeling the effects of the tariffs. We haven't really gotten the relief at the working class and middle class levels that people are hoping for.
The president also threatening to raise tariffs on Mexico if it doesn't provide more water to American farmers. It's crunch time on Capitol Hill. COVID-era Obamacare subsidies expire December the 31st. And unless Congress takes action, premiums will double or close to it for millions of Americans. So tomorrow, in the Senate, they will vote on not one, but dueling plans. Democrats want a 3-year extension of the ACA subsidies. Republicans have agreed to put forth a new proposal that would expand health savings accounts.
Tomorrow is a moment of truth for the Republicans here in the Senate. Are they going to bring health care costs down, or will they sit by and let premiums explode for millions of Americans?
We Republicans are trying to make it better. We want money in your pocket for your out-of-pocket, and they want you to front the whole thing.
In reality, both of these bills are DOA because there is not bipartisan support to get the 60 votes needed. The House is also working on its own plan. Back here at home, the village of Bloomingdale sharing the official site plans for the former site of the Stratford Mall, torn down last year. Now the village is planning to put the Grove in its place. You're looking at renderings of what the space will look like: dining, shopping, entertainment, even residential living, all set to open come 2027. The first official tenant is Bloomingdale Yard, a 100,000 square foot indoor sports and family rec space. Looks awfully nice. All right, so we got to see, Emily, some of that snow melt away courtesy of all the rain. But now, unfortunately, comes the deep freeze, right?
The deep freeze is coming. That's right. So tonight we're going to have temperatures dropping down into the teens to low 20s, which isn't so bad, especially from where we have been. But starting tomorrow, highs are only going to be in the 20s. Same thing come Friday. But by this weekend, we'll have low temperatures that are actually dropping a few degrees below zero and high temperatures that are barely making it into the double digits. So very, very cold this weekend. The radar right now, we have spotty lake effect snow showers coming down, especially across northwest Indiana. We also have more snow showers off to our west. So some of that's going to be sticking around throughout the overnight. I'm not really expecting any accumulation with this, but nonetheless, we could be dealing with some slick spots developing on the roads. Any untreated surfaces will become slick. Temperatures out there right now ranging from the upper 20s to low 30s. Tonight, we're going to be dropping down into the teens, but current wind chills are sitting in the teens for a lot of us. We already have that chill in the air. Your lows tonight down to 18. Again, that deep freeze is coming our way this weekend. I'll show you that in your 7-day forecast coming up. We'll be right back.
We begin across America in Florida tonight with wild video showing a plane crash landing onto an interstate.
Oh, I have chops, I swear. Oh my goodness. 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 A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway.
Yeah, as you can see, a little dark in the video, but the plane actually landed directly onto a car. One person rushed to the hospital with minor injuries. 2 people were on the plane. They amazingly walked away. The FAA investigating what went wrong.
A lot of millennials may have an irrational fear of quicksand. So many movies, cartoons from our childhood, right, had a scene in it where someone was sinking in on that muck. But that actually just happened to some guy in Utah. Austin Dirks was trapped for hours. He was hiking at a national park when he got stuck in thick mud. But thankfully, he was prepared with a GPS satellite messenger that was able to reach authorities with his exact location.
Before this trip, I honestly thought quicksand was more of a folklore or a legend. It was my left leg that went through first. I was able to pull it out, and then I shifted all my weight to my right foot, and I sunk up to the knee. But it felt like I had stepped into concrete, and then it hardened around my leg. I couldn't even move it a millimeter.
What a way to find out it's a real thing. Rescuers say the best advice for hikers is to always carry the essentials and make sure someone knows where you are before you leave.
I don't know what I got in the car. I don't know. I teleported or something.
Where'd you get the car from?
I don't know. I don't know. It's Calvin.
I
don't know. I teleported.
Officer, where's your fire seal? Come over here. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
Put your hands up on my car.
You saved me from the aliens.
Okay, so I'm just going to read it. This is 36-year-old Calvin Johnson. He had a bit of a bloody face, as you saw there. And you heard him right. He told the deputy in Florida that he was actually teleported into a stolen vehicle that he crashed. Deputies say it all began when a man walking his dog left the keys of his Beamer convertible in the car. That's when a thief jumped in, but ended up crashing it. The suspect driven, not teleported, to the hospital.
It's not Prancer, Vixen, Comet, or Cupid, but maybe this deer is hoping to join Santa's Slate team. Join the gang. Police say it broke into a Christmas store in Tennessee, got wedged into a chair. Department said the animal was eager to join in on the holiday fun, expecting the decorations galloping around the store. The deer was safely brought out of the shop before it ran off.
Nice. Well, a new gift to Lurie Children's might just help millions living with rare diseases.
We'll tell you what the donation is creating at the hospital.
And we've got a special report on the eyes in the skies. Cook County looking to crack down on all those shoulder speeders out there.
I'm Cassie Carlson. The Bears are managing playoff expectations as they welcome in the 3-win Browns. And how are they preparing for what could be one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history? We have the details later in sports.
Yeah.
If you've been stuck in traffic, you've probably seen it. Drivers who think the emergency shoulder is their personal fast lane.
Some of us see it every day. Cook County Sheriff's Office has launched a high-tech crackdown, and they're using a helicopter to stop violators.
What they're catching is staggering. Hundreds of drivers ticketed in minutes. Tia Ewing went into the thick of rush hour to see how it's done.
We've all seen it.
Drive time stacking up out there.
40 minutes on the Eisenhower from Route 390. Motorists snaking through traffic. And treating the emergency lane like it's just another express lane. For years, they got away with it. No warning, no stop, no consequences.
Black GMC. Looks like one occupant in the front.
Until now. August 27th of 2025, the Cook County Sheriff's Office brought out the big gun.
$11 million for this, to be able to do patrols in Cook County, operations like this one. So it's a useful tool that they now have. They were borrowing helicopters between Chicago police, and at that time, they had 2 older helicopters in their fleet. And then they were also using Homeland Security's helicopter when it was available. So now the Cook County Sheriff's Department has their own.
It's technology like you've never seen.
You can see who's around, if people are running out of a house or hopping out of the car or whatever.
On board is a MX-10 camera with night vision so sharp it can see you scratching your chin in the dark. The man behind the camera, Tactical Flight Officer Jim Gosling.
We call it the hammer. This is basically how I control the camera, our main tool. You know, I could zoom in, I could zoom out, I could see, you know, I could switch to IR, infrared if I need to. Extremely helpful.
The Cook County Sheriff's Office has issued more than 700 citations well before the chopper was up in the air. June through December of this year, motorists were illegally caught using the shoulder. Enforcement has resulted in at least 35 arrests, 11 vehicles towed, 54 vehicle registration violations, and 43 driver's license violations.
Yeah, I sit on 290 myself sometimes, and it's frustrating. Traffic's hard. It is Chicago. And then you'll see somebody driving down the shoulder real fast. They end up cutting somebody else off, and it's a domino effect. There we go.
From the sky, Gosling and his pilot direct officers below. Make, model, color plate, every shoulder rider is identified before they even know they're busted, making it easier and safer to stop any shoulder violator in their tracks.
They'll tell us along the way, like they're riding the shoulder, they're going in and out of traffic. They'll tell us actually what the infractions are, the traffic violations are that they're committing.
Meet Lakeisha Palomino, an officer who has heard every excuse in the book.
When you pull these people over for doing this, what are they saying? Why are they doing it?
Oh, they're in a rush to get to work, or they're pregnant. They have to use the washroom.
The list goes on.
It goes on. It doesn't stop.
You're an officer for Cook County Sheriff. But as an everyday person, I'm sure you've seen somebody pass you on the shoulder.
And it burns me up.
Why?
Because just because they have what they feel is an emergency to get to work or whatnot doesn't mean that everyone else doesn't have some place to be as well. You need to be in traffic just like every other motorist.
It didn't take long for Palomino to catch one.
So you have tinted windows. Let your window down. I cannot see you. Are you going to let your windows down so that I can see and we can move forward with it? You have anything on you? Okay. Okay, that doesn't excuse the fact you need your driver's license and your insurance card.
But I wasn't doing anything. I just got in. I just have come on the expressway.
Coming onto the expressway,
yes.
But you passed the point. You passed the point of merging. You were riding on the shoulder. You were driving on the shoulder, but you cannot because there's no space.
The driver finally fessed up to it that she wasn't following the rules of the road.
You have to wait until they allow you to get in. You can't ride the shoulder.
She was eventually cited, and the consequences really sting.
It starts at a $250 fine, 3 days community service. So you end up picking up trash on potentially the highway you were just riding the shoulder on. And it's a 4-month process.
Ro Khan, Chief of Strategy and Communications with the Sheriff's Department, says if you're caught again, it will cost you.
The second violation is $500. It can go up to $1,000, and it actually can go to multiple weeks of swap, which is cleaning up the roadways.
In less than 3 hours.
The reason I pulled you over is because you can't drive on the shoulder. My right tires were shaking, so I was scared, so I was trying to get her there.
The sheriff's office issued over 100 tickets for shoulder riding alone, and sometimes it's more than a citation.
So this traffic stop right here, this is a shoulder driver, pulled over, has suspended plates and a suspended license.
The SUV was loaded up on a tow truck.
You're gonna have to tow your car now.
Hooked, the driver required to face a judge, fix her insurance, and pay fines before she can ever get back on the road.
Any thoughts? Anything you want to say? No. Okay, it's fine. Thank you.
Driving on the shoulder isn't just rude, it's deadly. According to the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, 63% of fatal crashes involving roadside assistance providers between 2015 and 2021 occurred when a driver leaves the lane and hits the shoulder.
It's so dangerous when people are blowing by you at 60 miles an hour and you're stationary, you're going 5 miles an hour. I mean, that's a 55-mile-an-hour impact if you take it.
Some of these folks think they're so clever because they'll ride the shoulder, and if they see a police car up ahead or for some other reason, but usually because they see a police car, they'll try to duck into traffic then and they think they've cleared it. We already have all the video footage from up above, and so we just go into the traffic ourselves, get behind the person, put the lights on, pull them over.
Fox Chicago saw how it works in real time. And for drivers who think the shoulder is your shortcut,
and another one,
this operation is just taking off. Yeah, very interesting to be out there in the thick of it. Illinois State Police tell us the numbers collected barely captures the full picture. Driving on the shoulder could be a contributing factor for a crash, but a citation wasn't necessarily issued for one reason or another. But still in Cook County, ISP issued 50 citations in 2023, and in the past years, you can see the numbers right here in the year 2024. 50 citations were issued. For the year 2025, so far 60 have been issued. Tia Ewing, Fox Chicago.
Fascinating stuff, Tia. All right, thanks for that. Let's talk about what's going on outside, because the worst of the rain-snow mix, I guess, is behind us because, Emily, the temps are dropping, so we're going to just stick with the traditional snow, right?
Yes, we're getting into the snow zone here. So we have scattered snow showers out there right now, mainly lake effect that's coming down across northwest Indiana. Just a dusting expected, so nothing major out there tonight. We're going to continue to see scattered snow showers throughout the overnight. Then another system is expected to move in tomorrow night, and then that's going to last into the early morning hours of Friday. After that, we're going to dry things out. And then on Saturday, yet another system is going to be possible, but there have been some trends with the latest model guidance trying to push those systems farther to the south, so it is going to be something to watch here over the next couple of days. Regardless, if you have travel plans Thursday night or again on Saturday, just kind of pay attention to the forecast as we fine-tune the details getting closer to those events. But as of right now, it still appears like snow is going to be possible. Scattered snow out there this evening. Tonight, we're dropping down to 18 degrees. We'll have wind chill temperatures in the single digits with 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, dry skies during the daytime. Snow is going to be possible at night. And then on Friday, daytime hours also look dry before snow is possible this weekend. But temperatures, that's the big weather story. We're down to 15 for your high on Saturday. Back to you.
More than 25 million Americans are currently living with rare diseases.
But there are large gaps in diagnosis, treatment, and access to specialized care. A new donation of Lurie Children's is hoping to change that. Come on back.
Stream
Big announcement this morning at Lurie Children's, one that could transform care for kids with genetic and rare diseases. The hospital receiving an $11 million gift from Dawn and Ann Edwards. This donation establishing the new Edwards Family Division of Genetics and Rare Diseases. Governor Pritzker on hand, sharing just how important this gift is, not just for the state, but for the entire nation.
Anyone with a loved one with genetic or congenital disorders can tell you just how truly transformative this work can be. The hope and the clarity that a place like this, like Lurie, gives, a program like the Edwards Division of Genetics and Rare Diseases provides, well, can feel like a miracle. And boy, do we need to feel miracles today.
Hospital says this funding will expand genetics training, bring diagnostic testing in-house to cut wait times, and triple the number of gene therapy and research trials by the year 2030. And the Lurie Children's Radiothon is just a day away.
Yeah, the hospital sharing how you and your donations can help children who need care. They plan to raise over $1 million tomorrow, topping last year's donations. All of the money will help provide services to children and their families. It also funds life-saving research. Listeners will hear firsthand from patients at Lurie's. They'll share stories on how the hospital has impacted their lives.
These kids obviously are very special for what they've gone through, but they're also just kids, and Lurie really does see that, and they really try to give them opportunities for hobbies and sports and activities, and I think that's really important.
Fox Chicago is a proud supporter of the Radiothon. We will be checking in live throughout the day tomorrow during our newscast and digital programming, but you don't have to wait until tomorrow to donate. Just text Lurie to 34984, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. We saw everything from rain to sleet to snow today, and we're not finished yet.
Yeah, we could be in for another round tomorrow. Emily has her full forecast after the break.
I'm Lou Canellis. Cubs doing a lot of looking, but no buying in the free agent market, while another big bat goes to the highest bidder during the winter meetings. And Caleb Williams, he took the last shot against the Packers and failed, but much like MJ and Kobe, he's not discouraged, and he cannot wait for another chance to win a game. We'll hear from Caleb in sports.
as we said, the sky is not done with us yet, and it's windy out there.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not Beyonce winds. It's like
no, it's
winds
not the
of
cute
Thor.
kind. Yeah, it's the winds of Thor.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's been very gusty today. We have those northwesterly winds just kind of pouring that colder air into the region. Believe it or not, high temperatures today, you guys, were actually above average. We just weren't awake to see it. It happened right around midnight or very shortly after that when we saw a high right around 40 degrees. But now we are dropping into the 20s and low 30s. Eventually tonight, we're going to see teens to low 20s across the area. Again, it is very gusty, so the wind chill temperatures, they're beginning to drop into the teens, but again, actual air temperatures tonight going down to the teens. Your 5-day forecast tomorrow, we're going to be in the mid-20s, upper 20s to near 30 degrees expected on Friday. And then there you see it over the weekend. It's going to get very cold. So Saturday and Sunday, we're expected to see our highs that are going to be between 10 and 15 degrees above zero. But the wind chills are going to be a totally different story. So I think by the time we're starting off the day, the sun's coming up Sunday morning, I think it's going to be the coldest wind chills that we've seen so far this season. So we're looking at wind chills potentially as low as 15 to 25 degrees below zero. And that's going to put us potentially in that range for that cold weather advisory that could come out for Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So again, dangerously cold conditions going into the weekend. But before we can even get to the weekend, we have a few more rounds of snow to get through. Your radar right now, we have spotty snow showers coming in off of the water, off of the lake over in northwest Indiana. Tonight, we're going to have the chance for scattered snow showers, but little to no accumulation with that. And then early tomorrow morning, starting off the day with cloudy skies, but by the evening, we're going to start to see another system trying to move into the far southwest suburbs. So that's going to eventually spread across the majority of the area. I think the heaviest totals will stay off to our south and our west, but a lot of us south suburbs, southwest suburbs, I think still easily picking up 1, maybe close to 2 inches of snow with that round tomorrow night. And then we're going to see yet another round being possible on Saturday. For tonight, 18 degrees. We'll have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. 7-day forecast tomorrow, mid-20s, 29 degrees for your high on Friday. The weekend, very cold. We have another system that's going to slide by on Saturday. Most of the heavy stuff is going to stay to our south. And then we are going to be sunny on Sunday for the Bears game, but very cold with highs near 12.
Bears don't believe in trap games, neither do the odds makers. Bears are 7.5-point favorites over the Browns. First time they have been favored by more than a touchdown in 5 years. Now, Cleveland's won only 3 games, 1 coming against Green Bay. So the Bears know they better be ready. Cassie Carlson with more from Hallis Hall.
After an emotional loss to the Packers, the Bears know they can't have a letdown game against the 3-win Browns. And as Ben Johnson emphasized this week, every game matters, especially for the Bears who hope to make the playoffs.
This week is equally important. We need this win. We desperately need this win. It's going to take 11 games to get in my opinion. And with the amount of good, really talented teams in the NFC, 10 wins, I don't think is going to get it done.
Playoff mentality, the championship mentality, that's what we... that's where we want to be. That's where you want to be every year.
While the Browns offense with rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders is improving every week, they have the second best defense in the league. And defensive end Myles Garrett, who has 20 sacks and is 3 away from setting a new single-season sack record.
He has as the kids say, is a deep bag of tricks. He's right there at the sack record, almost there at the sack record. And so going to try and make sure that he doesn't get the sack record on us and on me.
It'll be another cold game for the Bears at Soldier Field with wind chills as low as 10 degrees below zero, having the potential for one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history.
I don't really think about the cold weather during the game. It's more about before the game. It's like the whole lead up, the warm-ups, it's kind of just standing around. That's kind of the annoying part of it. The TV timeouts. You know what I mean? I kind of just stand around by the heaters, and there's 30 seconds left on the TV time. I run out on the field, get the play call.
I've played in some cold games already here, and I've played in cold games before. I believe that, weather and elements don't bother me.
The Bears did hold a walkthrough on Wednesday, and when asked if we'll see Kyler Gordon the remainder of the season, Ben Johnson said to be determined. It did not look good after he re-injured his groin in pregame warmups in Green Bay. At Hallis Hall, Cassie Carlson, Fox 32 Sports.
All right, thanks, Cassie. Vegas has the Bears making the playoffs, but they may have to win 3 of their final 4 games, not 2. They're still not the favorites, though, to win the NFC North. Fox Sports' Daryl Moose Johnston will call Sunday's game. He agrees with the odds makers.
If they find a way to have a nice run here down the stretch, they'll go into the playoffs.
extremely confident that they can play with anybody in today's NFL, because I don't see a team in the NFC or the AFC who's really separated themselves and said, we're the team you have to beat. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be great football through the month of December into January as we head towards the playoffs.
Yeah, so do I. Shocking news in college football. Michigan fired head coach Sharon Moore. A school investigation found he, quote, engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This news comes less than 2 years after Moore succeeded Jim Harbaugh as Wolverines head coach. Baseball's winter meetings, well, they are over. Cubs lost out on another big bat. And if you thought the polar bear might feel right at home with the Arctic cold headed our way, you're wrong. He took the big money, ran to Baltimore. Pete Alonso agreed to a 5-year, $155 million deal with the Orioles. So I asked ESPN's Jesse Rogers, where do the Cubs go from here?
Right now, I think Casey's going to be given a lot of runway in right by Esteros catching 1 or 2 times a week and DHing, switching off a little bit. And I think they're going to give Shaw a lot of runway as well. You've groomed these young players. Let's see what they can do. And if they hit, then you've got them on a cheap price for a few years here, and you can spend money elsewhere, like on the pitching.
I like the plan. Hey, plenty more coming up on Chicago Sports Tonight. Great show tonight. Cassie and the Athletics' Dan Weeder at Hallis Hall. Daryl Moose Johnston on the Bears. Jesse on what's next for the Cubs and White Sox. 9:30 here on Fox 32 Chicago. Blackhawks back on the ice tonight against the Rangers. They were outscored by a combined 13-1 in 2 games over the weekend. We'll be right back.
Fox.
All right, Mother Nature stirring the pot again with Old Man Winter.
You know, she's not behaving, number one. But actually, I do have a really good stat for you very quickly here. The first part of December, it's the coldest that we've seen in 15 years.
Wow.
So if you've been feeling it, you know, you've been right.
Yeah, I've been feeling it.
Yeah, 7-day forecast for you. We have another chance of snow Thursday night, another one coming through on Saturday, but this weekend it's all about the cold. And Lou did not order the 12 degrees for the Bears game on Sunday, but we can blame him for it.
I feel bad for Cassie Carlson.
Good football work.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for joining us at 5.
And now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is up next. Be sure to join us for the news at 9.
Bears were back at Hallis Hall preparing for the Browns, but didn't practice. I'll ask Cassie Carlson and the Athletics' Dan Wiederer why. And we'll hear from Caleb Williams, who referenced Michael Jordan when talking about his interception at the end of the Packers game. We'll also talk with Fox Sports' Daryl Moose Johnston, who's calling Sunday's Bears game. Is Moose worried about the Bears falling into a trap game against the Browns? Finally, baseball's winter meetings heating up. The polar bear found a new home. Who are the Cubs and White Sox shopping for? It's now on a Wednesday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight.
On Fox 32 Chicago Sports, this is Chicago Sports Tonight.
Hey, this is how tough the top of the NFC is. Even if the Bears beat the Browns Sunday, there is still a chance they'll have to win 2 of their final 3 games and finish 12-5 just to get into the playoffs. By the way, in 4 seasons of the 17-game schedule, no 11-game winner did not get into the playoffs, but that's how top-heavy the NFC is this season. Lou Canellis with you, back on a Wednesday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. Bears back at Hallis Hall today. Our very own Cassie Carlson and the Athletics' Dan Wiederer talked with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and some of the players. They join us now. Hey, guys, why didn't the Bears practice today, and do you think it's a big deal?
I think it's late in the season right now. You're entering week 15. They have injuries, and I think right now you have to manage your roster for the rest of the season. This is pretty common late in the season where you start seeing teams kind of dwindle down how many practices they have a week. So they'll be back on the practice field tomorrow. Obviously outside it's cold. It's going to be cold at Soldier Field, so they want to get tested in the elements a little bit.
How's the vibe at Hallis Hall after that tough loss Sunday in Green Bay?
Well, because we aren't allowed in the locker room, we talked to Caleb Williams at the podium along with Ben Johnson and Kevin Byard, and it seems like quickly you just have to turn the page, look at the mistakes that you had in that Monday meeting from that Green Bay loss and find ways to get better. And this team still feels like they have a ton of room to grow, both on offense and defense, as we saw the defense give up a ton of explosive plays and the offense still working on connecting more consistently in the passing game. So I think it's turn the page and look forward to the Cleveland Browns, who we know they can't have a letdown game against because, as you mentioned, Lou, they still need at least 2 more wins. They feel like 11 is the number, but as you mentioned, 12 could possibly be the number they need to get into the playoffs.
Lou, I think one of the gifts that this team has had all season is a sense of purpose that needs to be heavy this week. With the Browns coming to town, you're a favored home team looking to get that 10th victory, and that's an important victory to get if you want to get to 11 and 12. You got to get the 10th one first. This is the best opportunity to do so. I think this team is locked in, and they understand what this opportunity really is on Sunday.
Let's hear from Ben Johnson and Kevin Byard on what lies ahead.
Looking forward to turning the page here this week. Today, getting the guys in and focusing on Cleveland. It's a team that really last 3 games, with a new quarterback, you can feel their offense picking it up a little bit. He's a dangerous player, and their defense, it's top 3 defense. I mean, they're really good. Team speed off the charts, and it shows up. We're going to have a challenge here to move the ball and score points on our side. So looking forward to coming back to home. Feels like we haven't played at Soldier in a while, so hopefully we'll get a good home crowd and get that feeling going again.
I don't really believe in trap games in the league. I think every single week you have to bring your best ball, regardless of records. This is the National Football League, and every team and everybody's playing for something, regardless of what the record is. I remember us last year not having a great record, but every single week we went out there, we played for the name on the front of the jersey, name on the back of the jersey, playing for pride. So we cannot take this team lightly at all.
And so they're looking at the Browns coming into town. They are a 3-win team, but mind you, look at common opponents. One of their wins came against the Green Bay Packers, and they held the Packers offense to just 10 points in that game. And Ben Johnson alluded to it there. This Browns defense is legit.
Cassie, I want to go back because I can't let it go, and neither can a bunch of fans in this town. The final play where Caleb Williams throws the interception. I know Caleb spoke to the media today. Did you guys have a chance to talk to him about that final play?
Yeah, well, let's just let Caleb speak for himself because he's been using a lot of analogies this year, and he had a very that play today.
There's not another moment, another player, another situation, in those moments, I feel like the ball should be in my hand, and that's how I felt as a kid. That's how I still feel today. That's how I felt on Sunday in that moment, and so feel great. It kind of goes to the MJ quote where he missed how many game winners, and the Kobe where he took the game winner, and tried to versus the Jazz and all of them back then. It's like you're going to take those shots, and that's the type of mindset I have, that I'll take those shots, and I'll roll with the punches if I do miss.
I think that's exactly what you want to hear from your starting quarterback, who his confidence isn't fazed by that moment in particular and feels like he can go out there and make that throw again. And both Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have now said multiple times they were confident in that play call. And I think you have to give credit to the way the offense played the entire second half to put themselves in position to be able to win that game.
I love that bite from Caleb Williams there. Cassie, by the way, I was fighting for you this morning. You and I are really good friends.
Why?
I said we should not have Cassie, Juice, and Wearis outside in that bitter cold on Sunday. Let Cassie do her. I said let Cassie do her hits from the press box. I know. I'm pulling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're still fighting here, but. The players I don't care about. They're going to be out there on the field, and I know the diehards. I know the diehards are going to be in the stands. But tell me, did they give you any idea, the players today, the coaching staff, how they're going to prepare for 20 below zero on Sunday?
Yeah, I am more worried about myself than the players too. I think we're working on that behind the scenes right now because I'm gonna freeze. I bought a heated vest this time around. So Caleb, I thought it was funny. You know, Southern California, Oklahoma. He's like, cold weather games don't faze me at all. I find that hard to believe personally, but I do believe what Kevin Byard said is it's the downtime, it's before the game, it's the TV timeouts where that's where you struggle. It's once you're in the game, you're so locked into that game and what the play calls are that you don't think about it as much. But that's why I said earlier, I think it's going to be a heavy emphasis on running the ball.
I think as a play caller and a quarterback, you have to be aware of how you're affected by the elements when you get in them, right? Like, you can talk all week about what they may be like. Once you get in them, you have to realize what your limitations are, and that'll be a key process for both Ben and Caleb. I feel very badly for you that on Sunday morning you're going to. I'll stay up in the press box with my muffin and I'll watch with binoculars what you guys are doing down below.
At least he's honest about it. I've always got your back, Carlson. Great job, guys. Thanks for taking the time. I know you guys are busy today. Get back to work. Cassie Carlson, The Athletic's Dan Weeder are joining us here on CST. After the break, we're going to talk with former Cowboys fullback, three-time Super Bowl champ, and Fox Sports analyst. He'll be calling the game on Sunday. Daryl Moose Johnson. He comes your way next here on Fox. Bears and Browns Sunday. We've got the game. Our coverage starts with Bears Game Day Live at 9:30. Yours truly and Anthony Herron on the game here on Fox. Kevin Kugler and Daryl Moose Johnson on the call. And Moose, nice enough to join us from Dallas, where he spent his career with the Cowboys. Moose, I'll tell you what a real pleasure this is for me to have the chance to talk with you. And our Fox meteorologist, Emily Walls, who is never wrong. You know those weather people, they're never wrong. She's predicting 20 below wind chills Sunday at Soldier Field for the game. That's nothing for a guy from Youngstown, New York, right?
No, but I've been in Dallas for quite some time, so my blood has definitely thinned. I remember my first winter back into the Western New York area, and I could not put on enough layers.
Give me a player's perspective. Does either side of the football have the edge in weather like this, offense or defense?
I think only wind. I think wind is the big one that affects it. So if we're minus 20 because we've got a substantial wind chill and it's a feels-like temperature driven by the wind off the lakes. I remember that San Francisco game several years ago where we were in Buffalo for the late game and we were watching what was going on in Chicago in the early game. And we watched pregame warmups and the field goal kickers couldn't keep the ball on the field from 35 yards out. I mean, it would go off the foot and then bank hard right into the stands. I mean, it was crazy how much the wind impacts that. So that really kind of brings it down to a run game, a quick pass game, Now you got to factor in run defenses and different things like that. So the wind is the big one that will kind of impact, how that matchup is going to play out.
You've seen the Bears this season. I'm sure you saw tape of the Green Bay game, maybe watched it live. They lose the game, but in this city, and you'll learn when you come to town, the fans feel like the Bears will win the war now with Green Bay. And after years of being beat up by Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, Bears fans feel like, hey, it's a rivalry again. Bears fought back in the second half. Couldn't knock out the Packers, almost, if Caleb Williams throws the ball sooner to a wide-open Cole Kmet. What did you think of the game after watching the Bears-Packers?
Yeah, I did like the response that you talked about in the second half. I thought that was impressive. And, just reading, some of the clips and hearing Ben talk about, how the process is during the week post tough divisional loss, the way they handled training camp, the way they've handled practice, how they've been strategic about the padded practices that are afforded to them during the course of the year, just to make sure when we get towards the end of the season that if we need one to work on our blocking fits, our tackling, we've got one there. So he's always very, very calculated in how he's approaching things. And obviously he's one of those guys who's going to have those great adjustments, not just at halftime, but during the course of the game.
We know that the rematch with Green Bay is a week from Saturday, and you were part of 3 Super Bowl titles in Dallas, so you know all about big games, but taking care of business in the next game and on those Cowboys teams. What would you guys do to keep focused on that next game, not look ahead to a matchup against Washington or the Eagles or the Giants? Knowing Ben Johnson the way you do you think the Bears fall into a trap game? Is there anything to be worried about here?
No, I think trap game is an excuse if you lose to a team that you shouldn't have lost to because you didn't execute well. You may not have had a great week of preparation. I'm not a fan of the trap game kind of scenario, that whole myth. I think it's really just an excuse that you can kind of drop on. It's kind of like analytics, right? Today analytics, all the coach has to do, well, hey, why did you go for it on that 4th and 4 at the end? Well, the numbers said to go do that. Right. So that's kind of giving them an out instead of kind of processing all the different things that are happening during the course of the game. How have we been on 3rd and 4 all day? How has that defense been during the course of the season on 4th downs and 3rd downs in that distance? So there's a lot of things that you got to pull into place. I think the same thing happens when we start talking about trap games. It's just a team that went out, should have beat a team and then didn't. And it's hard to win a game in the NFL, every single week. And it's gotten even harder in this generation. I mean, we see how everything is so tight and how valuable every victory is for a team. So, everybody should be poised to be able to come out and give your best effort. And I know that Ben Johnson and his staff will have this team ready.
You appreciate a great run game. And when you look at what the Bears have put together with this new offensive line in front of DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, how good, in your opinion, is this run game that the Bears have? And how far do you think it can take this Bears team?
It's good, but it's still early in Detroit. And when he had David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, those are two very different style runners. And they were able to, kind of pair them together in a very, very unique and productive way. Kyle and DeAndre are probably a little bit more similar than Jahmyr and David Montgomery are, but there is a different style. I love Kyle Monangai and how physical he is. I've always been impressed with DeAndre Swift, just how versatile he is when you get him out in space, but then he is tough in between the tackles. They're both kind of like a David Montgomery style runner.
Bears have won 5 nail biters. You think this is a playoff team with 4 games to go?
I love the comments that Ben Johnson talked about this week. They aren't right now. They're trying to find the wins that will make them a playoff team. I thought that was one of the best answers I've ever heard to a very challenging question. That doesn't say we are not yet, but it also says, I sure hope we can be, and I think we can be. And so there's a positive vibe through that whole response from Coach Johnson, which I thought was outstanding, because the biggest thing you have to create is that belief that we do belong. And when you haven't been there for a long time, that is the biggest hurdle that you have to cross, is everybody buys in and feels like they belong. And there'll be that one game that all of a sudden everybody feels like they do belong.
I was going to ask you, who's the best team in the NFC since you've seen so much NFC football, and you're telling me we don't know yet.
We don't.
It's
we don't.
Amazing.
Teams that are put into that must-win situation down the stretch and kind of play playoff football those last 3 games, and then walk into the playoffs with that win or lose, and we're going home. That's it's a tough place to be, but it's some good skills to learn. But I think this is a year where maybe we see a 6th or a 7th seed that played really, really well their last 2 to 3 games and had to win all of those to get into the playoffs, get on a little bit of a run and maybe head towards the Super Bowl. So I know this is in your division and it's probably not going to go over well in Chicago, but I would fear Detroit just because Dallas was on a high. They had knocked off Philadelphia and Kansas City, the 2 Super Bowl teams from last year in 5 days, and they went to Detroit and got roughed up. When that team is on, I think that they're still a scary team.
Bears-Lions, final game of the regular season, could be for a playoff spot. Moose, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much. And do me a favor, dress warm. I know you're in Dallas. Dress warm, and we'll watch you Sunday here on Fox 32.
I've got a great trick, Lou, that I learned when doing games at the Vet in Philadelphia on a concrete slab. There was no carpet. And if you get an old school heating pad and plug it in and roll it out and you stand on that heating pad all day, as long as your feet are warm, you'll stay warm.
Wow. Great. Bring it for the press box at Soldier Field Sunday. Great plan. Moose, thanks so much, bud.
You got it, Lou. Take care.
All right. Daryl Moose Johnson, one of the nicest guys in our business, again, joining us here on CST. Coming up, our baseball expert, ESPN's Jesse Rogers. This man is busy at the winter meetings. Hey, are the Cubs close to a deal for Alex Bregman? White Sox, do they have any takers for Luis Robert Jr.? Jesse's next here on Chicago Sports Tonight. Baseball's winter meetings heating up and closing out today. Yesterday, Kyle Schwarber gets $150 million to stay in Philadelphia. Today, Pete Alonso bags $155 to go to the Orioles. Welcome back to CST. Lou Canellis with you. That is our baseball insider from ESPN, Jesse Rogers. Good to see you, Jess. I know you have been working around the clock, so let me get right into it. Mets lose Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers. Are you shocked Alonso left for Baltimore?
A little bit. I mean, I guess I can't be that shocked that he left the Mets, but I didn't know that Baltimore would give him $155 million. And I think it's kind of telling one day after Schwarber signs for 150, kind of similar profile as power hitters, that Alonso gets 155. So obviously, Baltimore had a backup plan because they offered Schwarber a contract similar to the one they gave Alonso, and they pivoted quickly.
Kyle Tucker, Alex, they're at the top of the free agent list. First, I know Jed Hoyer was throwing flowers at Matt Shaw yesterday, talking to the media. Do the Cubs want Bregman?
I don't think they want him. I think it's smoke and mirrors. Now, would they want him at some, cut rate price? Of course, Lo. But when we include their budget and their needs this offseason, a third baseman is way down on the list. Carter Hawkins doubled down on defending Matt Shaw as well, and I understand why when you have a budget like the Cubs do. They have a position player base, Lou. They could go to spring training right now, and they don't have that on the mound. They need to funnel their funds to the mound, to the pitching staff, and I think that's what they're doing. They've already signed a reliever in Phil Maton. I think they're going to go after more relievers and at least one starter, whether it be via free agency or trade. So when you talk about needs and where the money can be spent, I don't think they're going to go big on third base.
I'm glad you brought up the pitching. They get a boost to their rotation, though we learned that Justin Steele won't be ready for opening day. He'll come back at some point in the first half, according to manager Craig Counsell next season. They need another starter. Who are they in on?
Yeah, well, let me say something. I ran into Justin Steele recently out of town during the GM meetings in Las Vegas, and he was pegging May as his return. So keep that in mind. He thinks he can come back in May. So it's not shocking to hear Counsell say he won't be ready for opening day. So they are definitely looking at trades. There was a name that came up last year, Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. He's on the trade block again. I don't think the Cubs are the favorites, but they're involved in those conversations. I think they're involved in Mackenzie Gore of the Nationals, those conversations. I'm not sure a trade gets done. Those are always hard to line up, especially for young pitchers. But there are free agents. There's two that I've been on since the beginning of the offseason. Tatsuya Imai, I think we've talked about him before, Lou. He's coming over from Japan. He needs to sign. There's a deadline for him by January 2nd. That would be at the top of the market. He's a Scott Boras client, so you know it's going to be big money. I think as a secondary option, Michael King, the former Padre, former Yankee, won't cost as much, but I think he's a very good pitcher when healthy.
And you're hearing that Ballesteros and Casey, those are their guys in the lineup. They're not going out for a power hitter.
I don't think so. I'm never going to say never. There's always the possibility of trading one of those guys for a young pitcher and then replacing them with a signing. That's why you keep Bregman at least at arm's length. But right now, I think Casey's going to be given a lot of runway and right. Ballesteros catching 1 or 2 times a week and DHing, switching off a little bit with Suzuki when he's out and right and Casey's on the bench. And I think they're going to give Shaw a lot of runway as well. Lou, I don't get why you wouldn't, you've groomed these young players. They're talented, and if they hit, then you've got them on a cheap price for a few years here, and you can spend money elsewhere, like on the pitching.
White Sox win baseball's golden ticket in the draft. If the draft was today, let me put you on the spot because you have great baseball knowledge. If the draft was today, December 10th, who are the White Sox picking first?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. Most people would agree with me. Rock Chalowski, he's the shortstop from UCLA. As of this moment, he's kind of the consensus number one. Now, what's interesting about baseball is, we know the order, but there's still a baseball season to be played in college or high school. So they're going to be tracking him and the other top candidates very closely. And I think it's so fascinating for Sox fans. Let's say this guy's the guy. You can watch his junior season coming up at UCLA leading up to the draft, which is at the All-Star break in July.
It's a Chicago name, man. I'll tell you. Let's go for a beef sandwich to Johnny's. Any takers for Robber?
I think there are. The Sox continue to hold out for that top kind of prospect. I think these other teams have seen what Gavin Sheets did when he went to San Diego and Andrew Vaughn did when he went to Milwaukee. I think there's a lot of teams that think they can unlock Luis Robert in a better lineup, but they don't want to pay top dollar for him. So I commend Chris. This has been a long sort of thing going on with Luis Robert. and he's not going to give him away. I think it's a 50-50 call whether he's traded during this offseason. I just don't know because no one has stepped up just yet, but that doesn't mean they won't.
All right, wouldn't be fair if I didn't ask you, for all the Sox fans wondering, do you see the White Sox spending any money in free agency? Did they talk about anything out there in Orlando?
Not a lot, though. Not a lot. I think they're going to sign a pitcher and they're going to sign a corner outfielder, maybe someone that could play first base, a Ryan O'Hearn type, that kind of thing. Someone to replace Martin Perez, a leader on the pitching staff. They're not going to go fishing in the deep end of the pool here, or deep end of the lake or whatever, but they will add on just to help out, the roster, kind of fill out the roster, and hopefully it's a veteran that's won before to sort of show the way as well, Lou.
Hey, Jesse, man, great work in Orlando. I appreciate you taking some time with us here on the show because I know you've been running around chasing stories and interviews. Come back home, all right?
You got it, Lou. Talk to you soon. Be well.
All right, ESPN's Jesse Rogers, nice enough to always join us here on Chicago Sports Tonight. That is going to do it for this Wednesday edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. For Cassie Carlson, Dan Wiederer, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Jesse Rogers, I'm Lou Canellis. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Tonight, city budget standoff intensifies. Will the mayor and city council get a deal before the holidays or risk an unprecedented Chicago shutdown? A top Trump administration official speaks out exclusively to the Chicago Report, why he says threats to withhold funding to the CTA are legal. Will the U.S. follow Australia's lead and ban social media use for kids under 16? The surprising answer from Illinois Senator Dick Durbin. And candidate for Chicago mayor, who he is and why he thinks he's the one that can win.
Welcome to the Chicago Report. I'm Paris Schutz. Another day closer to a potential city government shutdown, and the two sides have only grown farther apart on a budget agreement. Mayor Johnson revised his corporate head tax proposal. Now this time it would only apply to businesses with more than 500 employees in Chicago. He says the anti-corporate head tax campaign is being wealthiest business interests who are, in his view, not on the side of Chicago's working class population.
I have moved multiple times to ensure that the City Council knows that I'm committed to a real negotiation while at the same time holding to our values. Investing in community safety is my top priority. Ensuring that we are building safe and affordable communities, that's good for business. There's a reason why we have 6 cranes up and 18 that are committed. There's a reason why our airports are busier than they've ever been. Our downtown hotel occupancy, we have shattered records because our economy is shifting and growing as a result of the investments that we are making in community safety. That is good public policy. That is good for business. Now, of course, there's work to be done, but also when we look at this corporate challenge, 74%, the vast majority of the people of Chicago want us to challenge corporations to put more skin in the game. My question is this: why would we not do something that the people of Chicago want us to do that we actually can do?
But 27 city council members are not buying what the mayor is selling. They signed on to an alternative proposal, meaning it's a majority, but not a veto-proof majority. They would need 34 alders to sign on to have that. So they all had a pre-scheduled city council meeting today where they didn't vote on a budget, but they did vote to have more meetings, to someday consider voting on the budget. AKA, they've agreed to meet next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on and on and on, more days before Christmas if they can't get this done. Now, alders have also moved the needle a bit on their alternative proposal, like raising the garbage collection fee to $15 instead of $19. It's currently around $9. So to sum up, a $16.7 billion budget that has to close a $1.15 billion gap must be agreed to before the end of the year, or else city government shuts down. And what does that look like? Well, nobody knows. The mayor's office says they're consulting with the law department right now to determine who gets paid and who doesn't, what city services keep going and what don't. In the case of a municipal shutdown, about the only thing we do know is that Chicago's elected officials are going to have lots of lumps of coal in their stockings if they can't agree on something before the holidays. The federal government is demanding an enhanced safety plan from the CTA, or else it will risk losing tens of millions in federal funding. The administrator of the Federal Transit Administration penned a letter to Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson citing the burning of 26-year-old Bethany McGee at a Loop Blue Line station.